There's a really cool lady named Amanda Lightman who works on our website, helps administrate the school's content management system, or CMS. Because she knows that I teach about WordPress, which is a different CMS, she's often expressed interest about trying to join in on the class or observe things so she can also pick up some HTML, CSS skills, especially about how we use CSS inside our content management system. Even though I'm sharing this video with you, it's really meant for Amanda, or Miss Lightman, so I can share with her the cool stuff we're doing. This is what it looks like. In a nutshell, this is Trello, which is our project management, and it's the beating heart of this whole thing. It's how I can manage 5 different teams at the same time, all building complex projects using WordPress, and they've never built anything on WordPress before. So they're learning while doing a very authentic project, as a thing, building a thing for companies that they really need and will really benefit from if we do well. So it's meaningful work, and we're using Trello to chunk this big, enormous project into small, learnable events that then I can be reviewed, I can quality check, and I can converse with the students about students' request for help and need skills explained. Just like this video here, it will be added to our Git book, Gilmore.online's computer science Git book. And so you'll find more information about the specific WordPress skills that we're doing right here. Go over the projects that we have. We have a lot of projects that come from family members of groups and others that are just convenient, that they work within our timeline. Folks that have reached out to us and are comfortable working with a group of very talented students. So we have a real estate investor, an uncle of one of the students in the group. We have a parent of the student in the group, Creative Innovations, and we have a teacher at Gilmore Academy. We have me. We're building a video game competition website, and I'm the client. And we also have a coffee roaster company that was referred to by another one of our previous customers. In Trello, I can see those 5 different groups. I can filter on to one or the others, and so that way I can, and those groups themselves, they don't need to see the chatter from others. So when I'm checking in on a group to see how they're doing, and this is what the process I'm about to get started, is filtering these and starting to add cards, starting to do a card here or there. I jump into the projects as well, and also quality checking the work that does get done and making sure that it's thoroughly commented so that we have a good record for our customer, and also that I can make sure that the students are doing thorough research and getting the most learning out of this exercise. And I have really thrown them into the deep end. And so most of what our class sessions are now is just them asking, well, I've never done anything like this. Can you show me how to get started? And I'll walk them through on a Zoom conference, or if we're in class looking over their shoulder, and or if they're working as part of their homework becomes this, they can send videos through our chat, and I can then record tutorials like these to help also walk them through. Project leaders that really start to emerge, both the ones that are designated as the leaders of the group and the other ones that just want to see more productivity happening, so that they're creating new cards, pitching ideas to me about things that they could try, doing extra research for their client on competitors' websites and styles, and trying to see what sort of the best marketing and branding approach would be for their new project. It's really neat to see how certain students really step up and go above and beyond, and it raises the whole caliber of the class, because everyone starts to see more cards being processed, and it ups the average that's expected in class. The rubric system, a grading system, and it makes it really convenient because I just have a reoccurring weekly assignment to work on Trello cards. And then as I'm evaluating the students, I can use the rubric to give them detailed feedback while I can just zip through and just click on the appropriate point value in each category because I've already made the rubric out, so many years ago, and it's just been an easy template to keep leaning back on. So and I'll add a check mark as I process and have reviewed their Trello cards, and that I'll do that while punching through and filtering down to that student, and then seeing the Trello cards that have gotten done, and using that rubric grading system to make it very convenient. And that way, the students get weekly feedback on their pace and the quality of their work and what kind of challenging cards they're assuming for themselves. Now, my work for the website is no exception. If I do anything for any of the groups, I need to log it in Trello as well. And so, for example, I did a project here, and I worked on this project rather, and I put this coming soon page up. So you can't see the website in development. Instead, people that aren't logged in see this. Once I am logged in, I should be able to bypass this and view the website regularly. So I can look over this plugin settings and see if I can toggle that option. I understand why. Because I'm not using a secure site, my browser is not, because it's HTTP and not HTTPS, my browser is not allowing me to use a cookie. And so it's not storing the fact that I'm logged in and bypassing this page. So I imagine if I go to HTTPS, yes, it allows me to go through and see the back end of the website. That's not the back end of the website. This dashboard here, this is behind rather the coming soon page. This here is the back end of WordPress. This is from the administrative view what we'd see. Really technical, you might say, hey, no, even this technically is not the back end. The back end is really what's hosting the code and seeing the insides and inner workings of the server, and that's the back end. But as far as my web designers are concerned, this is the back end of WordPress. Fix that HTTPS issue since it's being a bother. In the general settings of WordPress, I can see the default site here. Now I can break the site if I type something wrong here. It would really damage the site. But I'm not going to. I'm just going to add an HTTPS to make sure it defaults to that. I know it works. I have a security certificate set up for this server, and so there is an HTTPS here. I'm just not defaulting to it, and now this will redirect that traffic there. Now it's making me log back in, and you'll see that it's now secure. And so if I'm logging in, there we go. Now I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. Cool. And boom, that's what I changed. Now I'm just going to copy this. And now I'll go to my Trello, and I'm going to switch to the right team. And I'll say switched to HTTPS and label it for that team. And I will drop in my activity. So now you can see what I did, and I'm done. And I really like to see, right, this came out as a comment, but I don't see the bubble there, and I instead just see the file, but I'll take it. Usually I like to see a chat message from a student telling me about what they've done. But if you're just including a screenshot, I think I'll be fine with that. Of course, and this got and I forgot to add me as that. Else needs to happen here is all groups are going to need to do this. I'll need to create new Trello cards for each one, but I'll demo on this. I want to edit this website's CSS. There's a small little polish here. You see this logo. Um, it is a little bit too big and it's creating this border here. This should be flush with this profile logo. And so I want to limit the size of this. So if I inspect this, I'd like to add in a bit of CSS that sort of limits how big this thing can get. Maybe actually just focuses on the image. So if I max width, I'd say maybe max height, 40 pixels. Okay. And I'm just going to scroll up on my mouse and see what's the maximum height I can get before it looks weird. I think 45 is about that. I don't know if I like any border at all. Yeah, 42 pixels. It should be the max height. So I've got a very simple line of a CSS that I would like to have limited. I'm going to have added into my code. And so now, how do I insert that CSS line? That's the necessary polish. I could edit the image myself and work within WordPress's built-in features to make that happen. But since I know CSS, I can just drop in a line, and it's much better quality image that's now a higher resolution packed in there, and so it'll be better in the long run. So let's use that code. So I'm going to go into the back end here, and I will add in a plugin for CSS. If I was using a child theme, I could use a theme editor and edit the child theme CSS. And that can be nice because that code editor can be easily upgraded and it's very pleasant to work with. But also easy, it's fine enough just getting a plugin to handle your CSS modifications. Add new. And why the dangers about the theme editor is a whole different lecture, and you should understand that. And that can be Googled or you can ask me. No, I don't have a downloaded version. I'm instead looking for custom CSS. There's a couple of great plugins that we've worked a lot with. This one's really nice. I have not seen this one in a while, and I'm seeing more active installations. Making sure this one was 3 weeks ago. That makes me feel more confident. So, and I've worked with this one so often that I do enjoy it. Installed. I will activate this plugin. You have to be very careful with what plugins. WordPress is always under assault, and so you need to take security and very seriously, and only install very reputable plugins, because every software you're installing to your website, you need to make sure is legitimate, and ones that you're not using, then you can remove them promptly so you have less extraneous code floating around your server here. Plugin added a new category in my backend. So here I'm going to go add CSS. I only need to add one file once, and then I'll just call it custom. And here we go. And now I'm just going to paste that line that I have, the thing with the logo class inside there. If you have an image, your max height is 42 pixels, and that should be it. All I need to do, and I should start to categorize this and nav bar type stuff. And I take my comment blocks very seriously. This is going to get a very long document, and so I'd like to have all of them well labeled so I can scroll down and quickly see the different areas of my CSS. Once you need to press Control-Shift-R to full reload your website to see CSS changes. That's about caching, but I reloaded and it works, so it looks great. Just a couple hundred more Trello cards to do, and we're done.